Good afternoon, easy speakers and guests. The love of Volkswagens. I was introduced to Volkswagens in 1969 when my parents gave me a 1969 red Bug. It was a cute little thing, black interior. I was so excited about it that I put white pinstriping on it. It was a fun little car. It's like driving a little go-kart. And being a senior in high school, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. When I married in 1970, we not only had this cute little 1969 red Bug, but we had a 1957 Volkswagen bus. It was an interesting bus. It was a faded denim blue. And you could move the seats in the back, and you would have the whole compartment in the back to use for transporting large things. Sort of like that. You get the idea. Little did I know that when I inherited that Volkswagen bus from my husband, it would turn out to be the first wife. Little did I know that. Because we had this little red Bug, which was a very solid, dependable car that we could use in the beginning of our marriage. And it turned out, since I wasn't going to school at the time, and I wasn't working full-time at the time, my husband would take it to work, because he had to be there by 6 in the morning, which was fine. So I would use the bus to do any kind of errands I needed to do, like going to the laundromat, doing grocery shopping, those kinds of things. And little did I know until about 4 to 6 months into this, it didn't have a gas gauge. And that was standard in a 1957 Volkswagen bus. You're supposed to go by the miles that you're driving. I didn't know that. So I would get in the bus, and I would be halfway to my destination or halfway home, and I would run out of gas. Every blooming time I would use that vehicle. And after the 3rd or 4th time of this happening, I would tell my husband, look, you take it to work, because every time I get into it, there's no gas. He says, oh, no, I just got gas yesterday. It should be fine. No problems. It's good to go. I would trust him. That's a big mistake, because sure enough, if it was a long distance or a short distance, it would run out of gas. It didn't like me. And it was because it was the first wife. I was intruding on my husband's territory with this little bus. And I also realized that this bus would take up the weekends because my husband had to tweak it so it could run just so every day. So on Saturdays after breakfast, he would go down to the carport in the apartments and start working on the bus. And I finally figured out about a year of this going on, that no matter what happened to the vehicle, if it needed a new windshield wiper, if it needed adjustment in the engine, whatever it needed, you had to pull out that engine. You just had to. And it just behooved me that this husband of mine thought that that was part of protocol of fixing a vehicle. So after a year of weekends spending with this 1957 bus, pulling out the engine no matter what was needed, I said to him, hey, what's with the engine pulling out whenever you do something with the car? And he says, well, it's needed. And I says, why is it needed? It takes up the whole blooming weekend. Why can't you just replace the windshield wiper in an hour and move on? He said, oh, no. That's what you do in this bus. So he had a relationship going with his first wife. To spend more time with her, he had to pull out that engine, right? pet it and coax it and talk to it and fill it full of oil and lube it and do all those kinds of things you do with the engine. Well, I want to tell you that when I became pregnant and I would use that 57 bus for whatever and running out of gas, I got really good at improvising. I had a gas tank in the bus by now, and whenever I ran out of gas, which is every time I got in it, I would get the gas can out and put it on the ground with this tummy of mine and just stand there for about 5 minutes, and sure enough, some wonderful soul would start and say, "Can I help you?" Absolutely. "Yes, you may help you. Thank you so much." And they would go get gas and bring it back, and I would get gas in the vehicle and move on. So I got pretty smart towards the end of our relationship with this 57 bus. The 57 bus didn't last as long as I have because in 1971, we bought ourselves a red Volkswagen camper bus. And it had a gas gauge. That was the first thing I checked when we were looking at vehicles. It had a gas gauge, and I was delighted. And so he would take the Volkswagen bug to work, and I would use the red camper bus that didn't run out of gas, that had a gas dial on it, and I was delighted. Well, we didn't need the 57 anymore in its faded blueness. And besides that, the bottom of it was rusting through. So it was signs that it was time to retire this bus. And so, one frosty morning on a Saturday, we drove it to the dump yard and we left it there. We turned it in to be salvaged for metal. And I swear this 1957 Volkswagen bus that was a faded denim blue cried. I could hear it crying as we were leaving. And I felt really bad. But you know, all is fair in love and war. So as soon as that happened, I was wife number 1. And we had our weekends back. So, for the love of Volkswagens, we had an interesting adventure. We kept our 71 until 2010, and then we sold it. But we did a lot of camping in that bus, and a lot of adventures that I could share another time. Thank you so much.